we want to hit this structure much closer or at the unconformity, which is where the unconformity deposits tend to be. And again, given that we've had anomalous radioactivity at the unconformity in all these holes, we think that if we move up this large structure towards the unconformity, that's where the potential is to have a significant uranium mineralization or discovery hole. So
hello, everybody. Welcome back to the next big rush. This is Drew Zimmerman, CEO of Stallion Uranium. And let me tell you one thing. I asked Drew to come on to the show because they have just come out with some very interesting results in the Athabasca Basin. If you know uranium, you know the Athabasca Basin. And this was their very first drilling campaign. They came out with anomalous radioactivity in 100% of the hole that they hit, because they drilled deep 3 holes. This is so much better than I was expecting. I cannot emphasize this enough. I was expecting a team of this caliber to maybe hit 1 or 2 out of 3. They came out with 3 out of 3, which really expands the potential here of their one of their projects of many, which we can get into as well. Drew, welcome to the show.
yes, thank you, Fabi, and appreciate the opportunity to be on with you and looking forward to it.
Okay, you have just started to explore the Appaloosa Target. And can you tell us what you guys have found there, and what does that mean in order for us to get a better view of what we're looking at here just for this area?
Yeah, I mean, the Appaloosa target has been the first target that we've brought all the way into drill testing. And as you said, our maiden drill program for Stallion in the Athabasca Basin. And, along with you, we beat our own expectations. Again, to have anomalous radioactivity in all 3 holes, that tells us that the structure in the area that we're drilling into is fertile for uranium mineralization. You can have these big structures that check the boxes that say, there should be uranium there, but sometimes the structures just haven't had those uranium bearing fluids running through them and there is no mineralization. So that was a huge win, and that came on hole number 1 when we released those results. Was we know there's radioactivity, we know there's uranium in this structure. So that was a big box to check off. And then as we continued to drill, obviously having radioactivity in all 3 holes was terrific. But we learned a lot on the final hole in intersecting a big graphitic structure down in the basement rock. So these are the conductors that you hear so much about in the Athabasca Basin. So for us to have, a 95-meter structure of a graphitic intercept that we had in the basement on hole 3, it informed us a lot on, where the structure is, the size of the structure, the way that it's sloping and moving and all that sort of thing. So we now know that 1, we have uranium in this structure. 2, we know the structure is very, very big. And 3, importantly, when you're drilling, and especially drilling deep holes, we know where the structure is, because again, geophysics will always guide you in, but when you actually have intercepts, you know exactly where it is, and that can go into your modeling for future holes, which goes a long way. So incredibly excited about the success of the maiden drill program and the information that we were able to get from it.
So just for my own benefit, and I guess the education of people who are listening to this, for you guys to have had, such initial success, I guess my question is, what was the kind of preliminary work that was done so that you'd be able to have those targets in the first place? And I mean, are we looking at targets here that, or the holes that are super spread out, or were they kind of close together? Because in the Athabasca Basin, you can very easily miss. We know that for a fact, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe this is a good time to just zoom out a little bit. And, we didn't end up on Appaloosa by mistake. We've said time and time again, we have a a strategy or a roadmap to discovery. And we aren't trying to recreate the exploration wheel. You know, we have a lot of companies that have done a lot of work over the past several decades. And we just continue to hone in on what has worked best for them, use the latest technology that's available, and hopefully be able to have their same sort of exploration success just on a expedited time frame because of the technologies that we're using. So we started with 3,000 square kilometers, did regional surveys over that entire land package, and have generated several tier 1 targets that we think are potential of hosting significant uranium deposits. And as we brought them forward, Appaloosa, it was on our 100% owned ground, so it was a little ahead of the Atha Energy joint venture project that we have. It was the one that was checking all the boxes, as do many of our other targets, but again, a little bit more advanced. So we brought it along, we moved it into a on the ground defined survey to again better target those drill holes. And again, even at that, I will say, we're using the latest and the best geophysics technology. And we assumed the unconformity at this depth was going to be about 900 to 950 meters. And it came in at about 750 to 730. So again, you can learn a lot through geophysics, but again, the testing actually happens with the drill hole. And that's just gone on to further inform our drill process. So once we sort of honed in and started to do more work on Appaloosa, then it was just again understanding what we wanted to get out of this maiden drill program. Again, we were doing large step outs, 700-meter step outs, so we covered 1.4 kilometers of a 3.5 kilometer conductor, so still more size out there, that's for sure. And it was a hats off to our technical team. After we had the highest counts per second, so highest radioactivity in hole 1, we stepped out to hole 2 and radioactivity dropped. We continued to step out on hole 3 rather than going back to the area of hole 1 because we wanted to understand the structure. And that's where we got to intercept the big conductor that again has been just invaluable information that we've been able to have on that area. So a long-winded answer, but that's how we got to Appaloosa, and again how we decided to target those 3 holes that we did.
So let's talk about that. You're talking about the conductor, and how does that relate to the potential, and how does it compare to what we already know to be a deposit that's quite close to where you guys are, such as the Shea Creek?
Yeah, again, we try and use all the information that's available. And fortunately for us, there's a lot of public information available about the exploration and deposits in Saskatchewan. Province does a very good job with that. So the Shea Creek deposit is only 13 kilometers to the west of our Appaloosa target where we're drilling right now. And, I think one of the most exciting things that we've learned is, our conductor, that structure is actually 10 to 15 meters thicker than the structure at at Shea Creek, which is 100 million pounds in the ground. So, a significant structure there. So we're seeing a lot of similarities between our geology and what they're seeing or have seen in the drilling at Shea Creek. So we're really working on a lot of analogs to help guide us in, we've got a lot of the things that we want to see in the alteration and the structure, anomalous radioactivity, but how do we use, our information and their information to make a model to hopefully, hone us in or vector in on where this deposit could be. And that's where it's exciting for us, because this drill hole, and again, I'll try and use my hand. You have unconformity here, structure this way, and our drill hole going this way. We hit the unconformity about 160 meters below the unconformity, which even over at Shea Creek would have sort of been the very tail end of the bottom of their deposit. So we want to hit this structure much closer or at the unconformity, which is where the unconformity deposits tend to be. And again, given that we've had anomalous radioactivity at the unconformity in all these holes, we think that if we move up this large structure towards the unconformity, that's where the potential is to have a significant uranium mineralization or discovery holes. So we're doing a lot of work right now to sort of vector in on exactly what that looks like and where it would look, and then also a long strike will be interesting to see as well. But giving us, a lot of optimism around, being able to find a discovery here, and also to the potential size of it. Again, the structure being bigger than what they saw at Shade Creek is very exciting for us.
That is for sure very exciting. So what comes next? How are you going to take this information and then do further drilling? When can we expect, I guess, results from, the uranium that you found so far? And when can we expect another drilling campaign as well?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, there's a lot of information that we've received already from all the structure that comes from the core. We do have, assays in at the lab. Those will be coming back. Again, we're not expecting, huge results there. We just want to confirm all the counts per second numbers that we saw in the downhole probing. But again, being able to take all this information, model it correctly, and analog it over to what we're seeing at Shade Creek to best guide us. We want to come out with something in the next month and a half, sorry, that we can really use to sort of illustrate the potential of this area, a lot better than what we can try and describe in words. But that's where we're at right now. Again, we still have a lot of other work going on as well. We're still doing some more regional airborne surveys of our other targets, but being able to sort of set out a plan to come back and retest this area, it's obviously incredibly warranted to come and do so, especially if we think we've increased our probability of discovery that much more. So whether that's going to be sort of late fall and into the winter. Again, we're fortunate with this Appaloosa target. It's fairly high up, and our drill trails are sort of along ridges. So, as close to sort of year-round accessibility without helicopters as you can get, which again is great for affordability of drill programs and so forth. But again, being able to get back out here, as quickly as we can, I think will be exciting. But also doing other work to continue to bring up other targets that we think, warrant just as much attention as this, which is an exciting place for us to be, and an exciting problem to have when you've got, so many good drill targets that you think warrant so much work.
And are we talking about targets within the same project or in other areas?
We do have other targets on Coffer. I think maybe they have moved a little bit further back as we've gained more information from some of our other target areas. One on our Gunter Lake project that we call our Coyote target. It extends onto our Atha joint venture target or package. And then from that big regional survey we did on the Atha joint venture ground, some pretty compelling targets there. We've got a great target that is at the end of the R7 conductor that NextGen's highlighted. We have a target that is sort of sympathetic to the Cameco Centennial deposit that's near the Virgin River shear zone. So, we've got a lot of very, very interesting things to do, and we want to, again, be able to bring more information to light on those targets, and again, just help us prioritize and be pragmatic with where we're spending our dollars. But I think the key thing to focus on for us here is, when we had 3,000 square kilometers and we, focused in on the Appaloosa target and have been incredibly fortunate with the success that we've seen, right out of the gates there. When we're looking at, 5 or 6 targets across that land package, you're looking at the absolute cream of the crop, right? We're looking at the top, 0.5% of land that we're able to sort of cherry pick from such a big land package, meaning that, when you are going to those targets, they are incredibly good, compelling targets that, check all the boxes that you want to be able to see. And again, Appaloosa checked all those boxes, and these are the results that we're seeing. So again, very, very excited with all the work that we've done across our land package, but to kick it off with a maiden drill program that had this level of success and has us so excited about, what a follow-on drill program could do here is incredibly exciting.
Very, very cool. I am definitely looking forward to what comes up next, especially in the Appaloosa Target. Never mind all the other stuff that you guys have going on. Drew, thank you so much. By the way, disclaimer, this is a partner company and I am a shareholder, and you couldn't pry my hands open from holding these shares because I want to know what they find here. And if they're onto anything even remotely like Shea Creek, then this is going to be a winner. Not financial advice, but this is what I am doing with my own money. So Drew, thank you so much. Any last words of what we should be looking forward to, paying attention to regarding Stallion?
Yeah, one, I mean, thank you for having me on. It's so great to be able to talk about these results, not just in a press release. So appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, as we move forward, and my goal has always been to tell people what we're doing and tell them why we're doing it and tell them why we're so excited about that work. So as we have more information from the Appaloosa Target, sign up on our website to our press releases. You'll get it right to your inbox. And when you're doing good work in such a good market, and maybe I'll end with that. We all hear the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats, but I don't think I've ever seen a market like the uranium market that exemplifies what a rising tide is. We see more and more news every day that shows this market's doing really well. And in those sorts of markets, you can be right, you can be really right, or you can be incredibly right. And, that's where we like to be positioned. And that's why we're so excited about what we're doing, and being able to deliver good results into that kind of a market has us incredibly excited about the future.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Drew. And I am watching with both eyes wide open. We'll be talking about your company for a good few months yet. So thank you for coming on, and I'll see you very soon.
Thanks, Fabi. Appreciate it.